I'm Matthew Clemo from CSI. Really good to see you again. If you're a regular attendee, or if you're a new attendee, I really appreciate you joining the webinar series that we put together for the financial services industry, aimed really mainly at the smaller institutions and looking at the opportunities and issues of the day that appear for these for your type of companies. So today, I think if I look back, we previously looked at a more technical, cloud-orientated subject. Today, we're going to look at really innovation and how innovation can help the smaller institutions. Innovation typically comes in the form of where there's change, and obviously there's been quite a lot of big changes happening within the industry, no bigger than really open banking. And though open banking has been perceived as a difficult task to overcome for many institutions, we're going to be talking about today is actually where the opportunities have actually come out there in terms of being able to offer innovation for you and your customers. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And then, we've got another one lined up, which is actually going to probably have a follow-on session in the next session, where we're going to have a panel, and we're going to start talking about how small institutions innovate and what is the best way to do it, and the problems that are coming up posing for those at small institutions. So we'll very much look forward to any sort of feedback or suggestions from yourselves, because this group is really, this group and information series is really for you. And so if there's anything that we can do that we can focus on, more than happy to put that into the mix. So if we can just wind on to the next slide. So today, as I say, open banking is an opportunity, not a threat. Our special guest today is Mohamed Gamil from dotConnect, CEO and founder. dotConnect and CSI have been working together for a little while, and we'll talk about the partnership that we've put together to offer a fully managed service into the Connect. But Mohamed's dotConnect have really put a highly innovative service into the market that can really drive a digital front-end engagement for your customers. But I'd like Mohamed to introduce Mohamed, and he can talk about the wider format of what open banking has presented to the industry.
Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohamed Gamil. I spent my life in the banking and IT industries. So I was in banking in Egypt for a good 7-8 years, then moved to Finestra, which used to be MySys or MKI. It's the same thing, for another 7-8 years. And after that, I came to the UK to be the Chief Operating Officer of Arayan Bank, which used to be Islamic Bank of Britain before. And in 2017, I decided to, with another co-founder, to establish dotConnect to provide a cloud-native digital banking platform. It was in the same time when open banking came to play, and it was a lot of ambiguity in the market, what's going to happen, and so forth. So today, the topic is about open banking, an opportunity, not a threat. Okay, so this is what we do, which I talked about what we do. We do digital banking platform, or omni-channel different platform, mobile app, portal, etc. And I will go in the definitions, and I think one of the attendees is my deep friend, Richard Smith, and he's the master in open banking, and I'll feel reluctant to talk about deep definition while he is in the attendees. But in general, I think one of the main definition for open banking is it is allowing the customer to take control of their financial data. And I think that was a key of where open banking came from. The customer can mobilize their data, and also allowing the fintechs to innovate and provide the customer with different solutions. Have they been successful to achieve that yet? probably we'll see next slide. The OBIE is the Open Banking Implementation Entity that was established by the CMA9, Competition and Market Authority, and the big 9 banks in the UK, 13 banks in the UK. And although the implementation is complete, but I think the decision from the CMA9 that OBIE will continue maintaining the standards of open banking, maintaining the directory and the trust for open banking, and it looks like they are allocating to OBIE more things to do, like confirmation of P, and I think there is to come. TPPs, those are the innovators that the access the account information, the access the initiate payments on behalf of the client with his consent. I think I have to remind myself and all of us that it's all with the client consent. The main thing, the heart of everything is the client here. He is the one mobilizing his data. He's the one consenting the others to access his data and provide him with a sort of services. And we have those TSPs, which is the technical service provider. I think we dotConnect fail in that category, which is those people that provide the technology that allows that connection between the customer and the financial institution. In this slide, I've just taken from the market here is how the open banking looks like today. And it's fair to say that I think it was successful implementation, and no wonder why the UK, I think, is ahead of the game from majority of the European countries in terms of adoption of open banking so far. But if you look at the exponential growth, and yeah, it is not just happened, it is happening. It is part of our life now. If we are talking 2022, that 10.1 million from the population will be using open banking, nearly 20%. Okay, so this is just happened. It's done. And this is where we can see the threat. I think we've been busy trying to accommodate the regulator mandate to comply with the PSD2 and the strong customer authentication, the multi-factor authentication, and all these great stuff. And trying to catch the right time, which was extended a few times, and then came the pandemic after that. And I think the last stage for the plastic, we're talking about September this year. But actually, we're trying to take a breath here. But if you look at the right-hand side, the YOLT, the EMA, the Bankit, the Money Dashboard, etc., all these newcomers, new TPPs that they came to the markets and they innovated new solution to the clients. They innovated the account aggregation, the customer payment, the analytics, the budgeting, the payment, the cross-selling different of products. And I guess some of us, if not all, using one of these or others, leveraging the open banking. So in that balance, you can see on the right-hand side, they have the technology. They came with a customer experience different from what being offered. They have the service efficiency and they have the cross-selling, and the customer is moving there. But on the financial institution, all of the attendees and they have the customer trust and loyalty. I think one of the surveys was talking about the new banks, the Starling, the Monzo, and the other new banks, despite the fact that a lot of people be using them. But when they have done the survey, it seems to be more than 65 or 70% of the clients who are using both. They're still maintaining the loyalty and the trust with the big players versus the new bank. So that trust and loyalty still there. You also have the expertise and knowledge in your product, your service, your specialty. You have that. And what we're trying to say here is because you have these two, these guys don't have, those third party don't have, maybe if we looked at it in a slightly different way, what should we do? What can you do not to lose your client, not to be in that shape and the client moving to the other direction? And I don't like to say eat yourself before somebody else eats you. That's the obvious one. So this is just some ideas. Have we thought about these ideas? Have we thought about being a third-party provider? why not? Why you are just a PSP or payment service provider, or ASP as account service provider? You can be an account information service provider and payment initiation service provider. You can get the license, and you don't need just to push your data out to these third parties. You can actually pull data out, pull data from others to you. Um, have you thought about using the open banking for funding their accounts? We're working with one of our clients at the moment, and we have a number of funding methods, including the debit cards and including the customer will transfer the payment. But one of the very obvious option is the customer would say, I opened the saving accounts. It's a great product, great rate. You need him to pay now and then. Have the open banking pull to pull the data from the other financial institution. And with the financial institutions now, they offer open banking push, so you can pull the amount of money now and then, allowing them to transfer between their own accounts within those financial institutions. So I think some of the building sites they only allow for transferring to a nominated account. But if the customer hasn't nominated an account, he cannot transfer. But if the customer can see his NatWest and HSBC and Monzo and Starlink in your application, why not he cannot transfer between these accounts with his consent? I think I have to remind myself all the time, it is all with his consent. Aggregate accounts, show him the aggregation as we're talking about today. I think the idea is having the customer more using your apps, your services. And as he's using more, he will get more loyal, he'll get more sticky customer, if that makes sense, and actually allowing you to offer him a better service. By the way, I haven't talked here about any AI related or artificial intelligence, because sometimes when I talk about that, some people they feel, oh, that's so far, that's still going to happen now. We are so far. I'm not talking about any, I'm talking about easy stuff that happened and happening now in the market. You can suggest offers to him. You can give him a cross-selling because his deposit in HSBC is going to mature in 5 days. He gives you access to that, and you have a permission to read that. So why not? You cannot offer him that. Probably when it gets mature, bring it to us. Your mortgage having this information. And by the way, some of the big players, although they're not mandated to provide mortgage information or lending information, they are providing it now. So you can have a look, and you can suggest to the customer something like a cross-selling. And I think the swing can go more towards financial opportunities when the technology and the customer experience comes to the left-hand side. And the way it will move more towards the financial institutions just by adopting those is the technology and the customer experience. Again, open banking is not a threat. It is an opportunity. And what we're trying to say, in the market, there are plenty of fintechs. We are part of Innovate Finance, and if you just have a look there, you'll see a bunch of competitors and other providers. A lot of fintechs there, starting from 5-man band to 300 or 200-man band sort of fintechs, and all providing good solutions. I will share with you a very interesting story. I was one of the meetings I was attending a session. It was one of the credit unions, and the CEO was there. And he decided to use one of the small companies in Bristol. I think it was 5-6 people type of company. They have open banking capability, and he didn't like to go through all the integration and everything else. He said, you know what? I just need, while I'm doing my session, I need to retrieve the customer transactions. I don't like to ask the client to give me 3 months worth of a statement because they forgot. It is very not easy for them to do that. So I can grab the information with his consent. They implemented that, I think, in 3 or 4 months. Then he said the integration will come later after that. Although my core expertise is around integration. I always liked integration, but I like the idea. I liked how he managed to get small company to do something for him. It eased the pain of what he was facing. It didn't cost him millions of pounds, by the way. I don't know how much it cost him, but I'm sure it wasn't a big amount of money to get it done. And he was there to share the experience and say, now I have the trust, I have the confidence, I have the ability to go to my board asking for a budget to do the integration. I like the approach. So in my view, just pick the right partner. Where we stand, and I think this is important, I hope I managed to explain how important open banking is and how it became. And we have decided internally in dotConnect that we have to offer this as part of our core offering, as part of our core channels, like mobile banking, like desktop banking, like social integration, if we have social integration. Open banking became part of that. So we felt that, okay, the cost of that one has to be at our side, not on the customer side. So when the customer subscribe to the platform, to take the omni-channel platform, open banking is there. And when I say open banking here, I'm not talking about open banking push only. Coming in Q2 this year, dotConnect will have open banking pool. So we'll be able to pull the information from the other banks. And once you have the open banking pool, when you pull the information from the other financial institutions, you can use it with funding, you can use it with mortgage payments, you can use it with any of these services, if you like. And that explains here, we should be able to have our channels setting like that. So we have the mobile app, the portal, the open banking, the broker portal, the RESTful API, all of them is just channel. And that to me is the key message is this is not a threat. We already have done the tick in the box for the regulator, spend whatever amount of money on that project. Some of them have been very successful, some of them were not as successful, but at the end of the day, there is an opportunity here that you can leverage and you can benefit from. So I will now be ready for questions. Sorry for being so quick. I know that's only have short amount of time. So I'm ready for questions. Matthew, you're on mute, I think.
Yeah, I'm just saying, yes, I just noticed that. Yeah, just please feel free to use the chat facility on the questions.
Sorry?